Hello, BookTube. Hello, friends. Welcome to Lizziefaye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and it is time for me to do a little reading update and tell you about what I'm reading in the month of October. So I never even did an October TBR. Now, I did do kind of a fall TBR at the beginning of September where I talked about what I was going to read for the Fall to Reading Challenge and the More Montgomery Challenge, which are both 3-month-long challenges. And then there was a couple of other readathons for September, which I did for all intents and purposes. I completed those, and I just never, I was just so focused on September, and I got my wrap up done for that, and then I just never got a video done. And here it is past the middle of the month, and I want to just chat a little bit about what is going on in October and what I'm reading and listening to and watching, because there's some really cool things happening. And even if it's too late at this point for most of you to jump in, I want to be sure that you know about them. I'm sure you know about some of them, but there's a couple of things that you might not know about that I think are really awesome. And so I just thought I would come on and just kind of give an update. So my apologies in advance if this is a little bit scattered, but I want to try to just let you know about the things as I think of them. I do have a list of stuff to check off. Anyway, so I finished the month of September great. I don't even remember now. How many did I say I finished? Like 35 or 38 books or something crazy. And of course, most of those were audio, but I had a lot of print books. I think probably a closer ratio than, well, definitely more than my norm. But this month, I'm probably going to go back to being a little heavier on the audio, but I'm still really happy with what I'm reading in print. And I finished a couple of small things, and then just over the next 3 or 4 days, I will be finishing a good portion of the longer things that I've been reading all month. So I'm really happy about that. But I think I finished at this point. I'm filming this right now on the 20th, I believe. It's the 19th or the 20th. I don't know. And I finished around 15 books so far. So for the More Montgomery Challenge, I am still behind on my watching. It's always harder for me to get watching done than reading, which I think is why I wanted to make it a part of the challenge. Not only to give kind of another dimension to it, just to encourage myself, if nothing else, to watch some of these things that I really want to watch. So my big accomplishment for the More Montgomery Challenge so far in the month of October is that I have completely listened to the entire Anne of Green Gables series, with the exception of the first one, which I listened to in September. And I started Anne of Avonlea, book 2, in September, but then I finished it and went on and listened to all the rest of the series. And because they were included on the same audio book, it's like a 73-hour audiobook, I listened to Chronicles of Avonlea and Further Chronicles of Avonlea. Now, the audiobook I listened to is available on Hoopla, and it includes 8 books. There are 2 Anne books that are not included, and you kind of got to pay attention because they start one, they end one and start another, and so you got to be listening so that you can pause and then go and listen to the one that's that's missing, and then come back, listen to the next one, and then go back and pause. I think it's book 4 and 6 that are not included in the Anne of Green Gables collection that I listened to, but I did listen to those in a separate borrow, and then came back and finished the whole series plus these 2, the Chronicles of Avonlea duology, and very much enjoyed them. They were just a lot of fun. So I still have several more things that I want to read and listen to this month for the More Montgomery Challenge, as well as on into November. But currently, we are in the middle of our group read, which is Among the Shadows. It's a short story collection, and they are tales from the darker side. And several people have commented on my Goodreads group about this. And if you are reading it and you haven't been on there yet, then please do. I made a couple comments about the first 1 or 2 stories, and then I've continued to read one every day since I started it. And I haven't been back on there to comment about the stories that I've read so far. far. So I need to go and do that myself. Hopefully I will have done that by the time you see this video. And then I wanted to go ahead and reread the Pat duology, at least the first one this month, at least get started on it. So Pat of Silverbush, to my knowledge, is not on audio. Almost all of her other novels and things are, but I haven't been able to find this one. So I thought I would like to go ahead and reread that one, and I have to read that in print. And then for a retelling, I'm going to listen to Anna of California by Andy Taryn. So I'll be talking more and more about that, as we continue on. And at some point early in the month of November, we'll do another live stream. And hopefully this time, this one will be on Mitzi's channel. We'll do a live stream giveaway of the next prize for anyone who participates in the month of October. So be watching for that. All right, so there are various other challenges and things that I am doing. Of course, it's October, so there's all kinds of challenges for spooky things, and I don't really read a lot of spooky, but I did pick up off my shelf a couple of books that I thought might be kind of fun to go ahead and read in October. It's the 43 Old Cemetery Road series by Kate Cleese. I don't know, is it Cleese or Cleese? Anyway, I have the first two books. I'm not even sure what the order is. I think this is the first one. Yes. Dying to Meet You is book 1, and then Over My Dead Body is book 2. These are just some books that I've had on my middle grade shelf, and they look like they will be very quick reads, and I thought this would be a good time to just go ahead and get these done. Then I do have one cozy mystery that will catch me up or finish a series for me, and I'm going to listen to book 3 of the Cider Shop series by Julianne Lindsay, and it happens to be a Halloween theme. So I will get in a little bit of themed reading as far as that goes. Another challenge for the Killing Time with Cozies is the scavenger hunt, and the scavenger hunt pick for this weekend is to read the second book in a series. So what I've chosen to listen to is the Herringford and Watts series, book 2, which I think is something like For Love and Murder. I don't have a physical copy of it. I have book 3, The White Feather Murders, and I just stuck it here just to remind myself to tell you about this one. This is a lightly faith-based series that is also based on Sherlock Holmes and Watson, only they're females, and it's a lot of fun. It's historical, it's set in Canada, and I really did enjoy the first one, so I'm looking forward to going ahead and reading more of this series. So then some of the other things I'm doing for book club, I just started Clanlands. Now, this was written by 2 of the stars of Outlander. The actor who plays Jamie, Sam, how do you say his name? Is it Hewan? And then Graham McTavish, who was also in the Hobbit trilogy. And I don't know really much about Outlander at all. I've never read the books or watched the show or anything like that. But this is our pick for Nonfiction November for my library book club, and so I thought I would at least get it and open it up and try reading it. It does seem like it's going to be very humorous. I don't know how far I'll get in it, but I thought I would at least go ahead and give it a try. So, have any of you read this? Do you need to be an Outlander fan to be able to understand what's going on? It sounds like this is more just like a road trip through Scotland, and they are visiting some various historical sites and things like that. I've read the first chapter, and I'm going to go ahead and keep on I'll keep on working at it. And then I also just started Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl. This is for Elizabeth Tyree's Classic Children's Literature Book Club, and you can find out more about that on Elizabeth's channel, which I believe is officially changed now to Soul Stained Ink. It used to just be her name, but I think she has officially changed it. So I will leave a link in the description so that you can find out about that book club. We read for September The Secret Garden, but I didn't get it done until October because we had a hurricane and the power was out and I couldn't get it downloaded or anything. So I didn't get this read or listened to until then. Now, I had read it before, I'm almost positive, several years ago. And of course, I love the movie. I've seen it multiple times. But it was very good. I enjoyed it. I think I listened to most of it twice because I had it checked out on Hoopla, and then I had already put it on hold on Libby. So when it came up, I just listened to it again. Anyway, it was very good, and I enjoyed it a lot. So for November, I decided I would read this with my daughter Emily. Last night we started it and read 2 chapters, and I think if we read 2 chapters a day, we'll just about finish it by the end of the month. And of course, we'll go ahead and get it finished by the end of the month. And I don't think I've ever read this. Of course, I've seen both movies. Emily is really partial to the newer movie. She has watched that multiple times, and so I'm hoping that she will pick up the storyline and will understand that this is the book, you know, that's the movie is based on, and everything. So anyway, I think we're going to really enjoy that. So let me run back through a couple of other things that I have read or listened to. On audio, I listened to The Amaranth Enchantment by Julie Berry. I thought this was cute. It was kind of a Cinderella story. This is an audiobook I picked up at a library sale, and it's just been kind of floating around a bin, and I saw it. I think actually when the power was out and I had a battery operated CD player and I didn't have any way to download anything on my phone, that's actually when I picked it up and got started on it. So I went ahead and finished it, and I enjoyed it. Also, another fantasy book that I am just about finished with is Rose Daughter by Robin McKinley. Now, I did accidentally let this expire on Hoopla, and I had it had played all the way through, but I kind of zoned out and I missed the ending. So I need to go back, and I'm not going to reborrow it again. I've got the book here. I'm just going to go ahead and read the last few chapters just to kind of get a feel for how it ended. And then on audio, I have just started, well, I have a few Sunshine State books for this school year. I thought I'd go ahead and try to listen and read a few of them and then try to do an overview video of those. So I just started today Rivals by Tommy Greenwald. I really enjoyed Tommy Greenwald. He has some really fun books. I'm not a huge basketball fan, although when I was growing up in school, this is pretty much the only sport that we had. But I do understand basketball. I'm just not a huge basketball fan. But anyway, it's not a long book, and so I will go ahead and finish that. And then for my devotion time, I picked up, because I'm trying to kind of clear off and get through some things on my shelves, I had picked these up somewhere, maybe at a library sale. These are Women of Faith study booklets. They're mainly intended for group study, but I enjoyed them. I already finished one of them, Growing in Prayer, and then I'm about half done with this one, Knowing God's Will. And yeah, so I'm enjoying those as part of my devotion time. I'm also reading another book that has to do with church leadership in the area of music. I, again, found it at a library sale, and I thought, oh, this is something that I might glean some information from. So I am reading that as well. I did finish Promise, Texas, so I'm excited about that. And I went right on into Return to Promise. These are both by Debbie Macomber. They are books 7 and 8 in the Heart of Texas series. I had listened to the first 6 on audio a couple months ago. Loved them. These are really good, but I think I am enjoying these more because I'm already invested in the characters. As standalones, I don't think they would be quite as good, but the Promise Texas, or the Heart of Texas, Promise Texas story really has a lot of continuity going through and a lot of repeat characters and just a real community feel. So I would say if you have read and enjoyed several of Debbie Macomber's newer series, go back and try this one. This one is a pretty old one, but I have really loved it. And now I am on the last one, and I am about half done with it. So then also in print, I have been reading The English Breakfast Murder by Laura Childs. This is book 4 in the Tea Shop Mysteries, and I am almost done. I maybe have 3 chapters left. Also in print, I have been reading Things Not Seen by Andrew Clements. This is book 1 in the Things trilogy. I had listened to book 2 on audio years ago before I ever realized that it was book 2 in a trilogy. It can stand alone, but one of the characters in that is invisible, and this is his backstory. This is the story of him waking up one morning and realizing that he's invisible, and him and his family trying to figure out what to do about it. So it's very enjoyable. I am getting close to the end here, so I'm going to be finishing that up soon. And then another book I'm getting pretty close to the end of is Thrive by Kenneth Opel. This is book 3 in the Overthrow trilogy, and this is a science fiction book, and I am really enjoying this one. I like this one more than the second one. The second one was intense, and I think maybe it's because I listened to the first one on audio, and a lot of times, when you listen on audio, you just have a harder time getting invested in the characters and the story. That's not always the case, but I think if I had started out in print, maybe the second one would have flowed a little better. But now, by this third book, I'm rolling. I'm just really enjoying it, and I think it's a really good trilogy so far. So anyway, it's kind of a horror / sci-fi series. It's definitely the horror stuff in the first book and some in the second. This third book is really more science fiction than horror. And so, I've kind of been all over the place, but that is the majority of what I wanted to talk about. Let me just check my list and see what else I wanted to mention. Okay, so I did mention that there were some things going on that I wanted to tell you about. Now, I'm sure all of you have heard of Victober, and I am going to listen to a couple of books that are Victorian literature. I have not started them yet, but I am planning to listen to Cranford by Elizabeth Gaskell, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I have a physical copy coming from the library. I should be able to pick that up tomorrow, and I'm going to listen to it on audio. And then also, I am planning to listen to Kidnapped by Robert Louis Stevenson. Now, I did see somebody comment that it was perhaps not quite British enough to be considered Victorian. I keep hearing about Kidnapped, and copies of it keep floating into my house, and I just feel like I'm supposed to read it. So I think it is time for me to read it. I also have a graphic novel copy in my eBay store, and I may have to pull that out and read that as well. So then also, just as a nod to Victober, even though it wasn't written in the Victorian era, it is set in the Victorian era. I'm going to listen to the next Mrs. Jeffries book. I already forget now what number I'm on. I'll put it right here, and I'll put a picture here. But for the last 2 or 3 years, I have been listening to one or more Mrs. Jeffries novels. They're cozy mysteries, just as a nod to Victober, because I have just never really been drawn to reading a lot of Victorian literature. But, I was asked to be on Kate Howe's channel last month, and I thought, how can I appear on Kate Howe's channel and not read something for Victober? I mean, I just can't bring myself to do that. So I am going to give it a try. Now, I have read other Victorian books, but it's just not something I'm drawn to. So I am going to step out of my comfort zone, and I think I'm going to enjoy these. I'm really looking forward to Cranford. I think it is going to be right up my alley, and I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, then the other thing that I have not really plugged into the prompts, but I'm sure that by the end of the month, some of the things that I have planned to read will fit, and I am going to sit down and map it out and make sure that I do accomplish some of these prompts. And this is the Journey Through the Bible Readathon, and it's hosted by Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails, and you guys need to go and check this out. I'm going to link her announcement video, even though I know the month is 2/3 over at this point. This is such a great idea. It's a choose your own adventure through the Bible, and it is just so well thought out. And it's a fiction readathon, but the prompts have to do with different things in the Bible. And the idea is that you pick Christian fiction books to take you through each of those prompts as you choose your own adventure. It is the coolest thing ever. So you guys need to go and check it out if nothing else. And if you can squeeze in a book or two at this point, then I would encourage you to do that as well. And I'll let you know at the end of the month how I do, because it is something that I really want to prioritize now in the last several days of the month. So that is about it. like I said, I just kind of been all over the place, but I wanted to give you a reading update. It was a whole week ago that I filmed the video that just posted yesterday. I filmed that and one I'm going to post tomorrow, and then I just lost all motivation for editing. So I am going to edit this video and get it up by tomorrow if it kills me. I'm going to stay up all night if I have to. No, I'm not really going to do that. But anyway, I am going to get this done in a timely fashion so that I can move on to other things. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. How is your October going? Are you enjoying what you're reading? Are you reading for Victober? Are you joining in the Journey Through the Bible readathon? Are you doing something else that I haven't even talked about? Are you doing a Halloween readathon? Oh, Storm has been hosting the Hallowtween readathon, and she's doing spooky middle grade books all month. So that sounds like a lot of fun. There is just really a lot of things going on. And the Killing Time with Cozy's group is doing a Halloween readathon or a reading challenge. So there are just all kinds of fun things. And my apologies for not coming on here at the beginning of October and giving shout outs to all of those. But as I live my life with the motto, better late than never, that's what I'm going with. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.